In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take an image like this and turn it into a sort of silhouette outline which looks something like that. The first step you have to do is take a look at your channels. Now this happens to be a CMYK image, so there are 4 channels apart from the composite, which is the CMYK, and the trick is to look at each one in turn by simply clicking on it. So that's the cyan channel, that's the magenta channel, they're all shown in black and white, that's the yellow channel, and that is the black channel. What we're trying to do is find the channel with the highest amount of contrast, and in this case it's definitely the yellow channel. So what we're going to do is actually duplicate the yellow channel. To do that, we just drag it to the new channel icon at the bottom of the channel panel so that we now have a copy. Now really what we want to do is boost the contrast as much as possible, so we pretty much just get black and white rather than various shades of grey. First thing I'm going to do is go into the image menu and go down to adjustments and levels, and we're going to move the midtone slider until we get a really nice amount of contrast. That's looking pretty good, and we'll just click OK for that. And once again, go to the image menu, go down to adjustments once more, and this time to threshold. Now what threshold does is it turns dark tones black and white tones white. So we have to play around with this middle slider until we get more or less the result we're looking for, and then click OK. And now comes the fiddly part. What we have to actually do is touch this up just using our paintbrush. So with black paint, we're going to touch up all the dark areas. And I'm not going to bore you with tiny little details. And then we can swap the colors around and clean up the white areas. So here we are, we've got our cleaned up channel, just black and white, and what we need to do is create an entirely new file. So to do that, what we're going to do is copy this. So the easy way of doing that is hold down either the Command key on a Mac or the Control key on a PC and press the letter A to select all, and then Command or Control C to copy, and then if we click on the File menu, we can make a new file. And Photoshop actually knows the size of the file that we copied, so it's going to make a new file exactly the same size. So we don't have to worry about changing that, but let's change the mode from grayscale to our RGB, and then just click OK. And then if we hold down the Command or Control key and press V, we will now have a new file that has 3 channels in it, a red, green and a blue channel. They're all black and white, and 1 layer. To turn that from black to red, what we need to do is to make a new layer on top of it. So you just click on the New Layers button at the bottom of the Layers panel, and then make sure that your foreground color is red, whatever color red that you like. Click OK, and then go to the Edit menu and down to Fill. Make sure that it is filling with the foreground color and mode is normal, and then simply click OK. And that gives us a nice bright red color, which of course covers the entire layer. We only wanted to cover the black parts of the layer, so we can change the layer blending mode from normal to lighten. And that gives us a red and white image. Now it's still pretty rough. The way we can smooth it out is to actually import it into Illustrator. So to do that, what we need to do is flatten this image and then simply save it as a TIFF or Photoshop or JPEG file, and then bring it into Illustrator. Right, so here we are in Adobe Illustrator. What we have to do now is make a brand new file. So to do that, we just go to the File menu, go down to New. Dialog box comes up asking us what size we want. You can give it a name, and we're just going to, in this case, use a standard A4 size, and make sure that because it's a horizontal aspect, click on the landscape button and then click OK, and that gives us a nice clean page to work on. What we now have to do is place that Photoshop image that we created. And to do that, we go to the File menu and don't open, but go down to Place. So mine is on the desktop. It'll just take a few minutes for the computer to wake up and find it. And mine is called Cleaned. So we'll place that. And what happens is you get a loaded cursor. So you can just click and drag to the area you want your image to cover, and you can see it's exactly the same image that we just created in Photoshop. What we really want to do is turn this into an Illustrator or vector type image. And the way to do that is to look up at the control panel where it says Image Trace, and right next to the words Image Trace there's a downward pointing arrow. If you click on that, in this case, because it's a fairly simple image, we only need a 3-color trace. So if you just click on that, it takes a little while to actually find the edges of the image that you created. It'll then turn it into a vector-based image that has pretty sharp edges. It takes a few minutes, really, depending on the complexity of the image. And that is pretty much it. All we have to do now is click on the Expand button to turn it into a vector image. And then when we click away, we can see we've got these really nice sharp edges. One of the advantages of turning it into a vector as opposed to a raster image is that it is totally scalable. We can click on it and make it smaller by holding down the Shift key and dragging it to a smaller size, or as big as you like. This could be 20 meters wide and it would be just as sharp as it is right now. Well, I hope you found that useful and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. I'm Ruben Miller. Cheers.